physical survival. That, after all, is your shield against KGB in fighting for freedom. That was the first lesson. But the second, no less important lesson is, who are your allies in prison? KGB tries to do everything that everybody will suspect everything, that nobody can rely on anyone. You can never know whether the guy whom you are in cell or in the camp is KGB collaborator who was put here simply to be informer, to inform KGB what you're doing, or to get some information about what the other prisoners are planning to do. Or he is really passionate political fighter against KGB as you are. How you can know? KGB controls everything. And you're trying to find some objective criteria. And what you understand then, that the stronger is the identity of the prisoner in your cell, the bigger the chance that he's not cooperating with KGB. That, of course, if the other prisoners, like you, are linked by their desire to live in free society, and very quickly, every political prisoner who came, who was arrested for his strong political or religious convictions, very quickly we understand that we have the same aim, to live in a society where people are not punished for their views. So we all want to live in a democratic society, tolerant society. But we have very different identities. And there is Pentecostals who want to teach their children their religion, and they are not permitted, and they go retreat from central Russia to Ural, from Ural to Siberia, from Siberia to Far East, in order to create communities where KGB will not eat them, and KGB goes after them to Kamchatka and arrest them, trying to stop them to teach their children. And there are Catholic priests who try to have free contacts with Vatican and was permitted from Lithuania because it undermines the control of KGB. And there are Crimea Tatars, Muslims who were exiled to Siberia who want to go back, and Russian monarchists and Ukrainian nationals and so on and so on. They have their own identity, their own values. But the stronger they are in their identity, the bigger there is chance that there are things for which they are ready to die but not to give up to KGB. And then that's how we can know that they can be reliable partners in this struggle. So the best fighters, together with you in this struggle against KGB, are people who, like you, believe in freedom and democracy, but for whom there are things which are more important than their physical survival, who are strong in their identity, in their history, in their faith, whose feeling of belonging to their community is so strong that they will not agree under the threat of being sentenced to death, or to many, many years of imprisonment, will not agree to cooperate with KGB. Not because they love you and your world, but simply because they love their own freedom, their own inner freedom. They want to remain part of their history of struggle for their truth. And that's how we find out that identity and freedom are not enemies. The fact that if identity without belief in freedom can become totalitarian, can become fundamentalist, can become Muslim fascist, can become different awful things and bring to ethnical cleansing. But belief in freedom without identity can make you very weak, can make this freedom decadent, powerless. You will not be able to defend it. So this unity between, or connection between identity and freedom, that's what makes this struggle against KGB then in Soviet Union so strong. And of course then I couldn't imagine in those years of struggle in prison that when we will live in free world, after the Soviet Union will be defeated, after KGB will be defeated, after the Iron Curtain will fall, that in that world in which we will live, identity and freedom will stand on the different sides of barricades and we'll be fighting with one another. But that's unfortunately exactly what happened. In fact, if you take all the modern history of thought, it's the central element of it is belief that in order to build free, democratic, happy world, you need to overcome the differences between the people. You have to erase identity. The first big attack on identity in modern history was, of course, Marxist attack. Marx and Engels, and I quote them a lot, early Marx and Engels, because if you go to the roots, it's such a clear way you can see the neglect, the irony, the dismissal of the importance of identities. That, well, religion for Marx was opium of the people. National this kind of prejudices which capitalists or exploitators are using in order to divide people and to rule them. And of course, when the Bolsheviks came to power, they had to implement that theory by creating the world without identities. And they started erasing these identities, political, national and religious and class identities. They simply started erasing millions and millions of people who were resisting to become noble, to become cogs, as Stalin was called. This policy of destroying identities was abruptly stopped in one day. When was it stopped? It was stopped when Hitler attacked Soviet Union. When Stalin suddenly discovered that he was deceived by his ally, he just now signed this great agreement that they divided the world between Hitler and Stalin, and Hitler occupied part of Europe, Stalin occupied another part of Europe, and they were planning, Stalin was definitely planning how they will divide all the world. And suddenly he was deceived and Hitler attacked him, and Stalin for a few days, Stalin simply disappeared. He was so shocked, he was not ready yet to speak to his people. And when he reappeared some days later, 1 week later, it was already, he was speaking in different voice, in different language, and all his policy of erasing identities changed. Some of those religious leaders who were not yet killed were brought back from Siberia and were put as the leaders of religious movements. Those institutions of Russian Empire which were destroyed were rebuilt. The names of Russian tsars and Russian military leaders became the names of the medals and decorations for the soldiers. The official Soviet hymn anthem, which was international, about the great solidarity of the working people of all the land who will unite, destroy capitalism, and will build one world of equals. That was the anthem of Soviet Union. It was removed. It was replaced by the anthem which was saying about great Russia, which unites other people. Why? Because Stalin understood very well that when he needs now that millions and millions of people will go and be ready to die in the struggle, they will not do it for some abstract ideal of equality, for abstract ideal of class justice, for solidarity with the working class of Germans, or whatever. Only some weeks before, official propaganda was that the moment there will be war against Soviet Union, all the proletariat of the other nations will revolt and will support Soviet Union. So all this disappeared. Now they have to explain to their people why they have to go and to kill as many Germans as possible. And that was exactly the rhetoric of those days. But in order they will go and will be ready to kill, they have to defend their family and their faith and their village and their nation. And so Stalin had to bring back identity urgently. In a few days he was restoring what was destroyed for dozens of years. That's about Marxism. I speak a lot about it. I don't want now to spend time on this. What is much more important for us is the second big attack on identity. which at least I tried to show